Today, I have the chance to sit down with dancers Hailey and Natasha Strilchuk to discuss the differences in the musical theater world and the dance world. We talked about growing up in a studio environment, sometimes being the only woman of color, competition days, and of course, the important lessons learned. I hope you enjoy our conversation. So, if you could first tell us about your dance background.
Oh boy. You go first, Natasha. You go first.
Oh God. Yeah, I guess I started super young. My mom put me in dance when I was like 2.5 because I was always dancing around the house, like many of us. So our parents are like, okay, you go to a studio and do it for fun. Great. Yeah. And so I started with ballet and tap, and ballet was really my focus for a long time. And I was living in England, and from I was 1 to 7 is when I moved back to Canada. And so, yeah, I started there in a studio about an hour and a half away from London. And then when I moved to Saskatchewan, I went to a like very ballet focused school for dance and did competition until I was about 18. And then I went to Randolph for musical theater and danced a ton there in every style. And now I'm just musical theater Broadway baby.
Yes.
Amazing.
Wait, when you said London, I thought you meant London, England.
Yes, yeah, I did.
London, England. Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
lived in England for 6 years in my youth.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you, Hailey?
I have similar backstory. My mom actually was a dancer. She started dancing just after her mom passed away when she was about 13. My grandpa kind of put her into it so that she could have something to kind of take away from the loss. And she fell in love, and she's been dancing and teaching since then. So I have been exposed to dance literally when I was in her belly, because she would be teaching and choreographing and dancing, and I was, in her belly. So I came out and was straight into the studio. I started off just like you. I think I was 2.5 or 3. And my main focus was tap. I did not enjoy the ballet. It was too slow for me. Just I like to move. I love the rhythms in tap. So I started off with tap, and then I did the whole competitive thing as well. I did dance exams. Dance was like my thing, and then I thought I was going to go to school for dance. I was like, I wanted to go to Alvin Ailey and do the university program there. Yes, I wanted to go to Ryerson. And then my mom and my dance teacher were like, look, you have the ability to sing and act. It's no longer a world of like just being able to do one thing. It's helpful to be able to do it all. So then my dance teacher was like, go to Sheridan. And I was like, Sheridan, musical theater, come on, like what? I don't sing. And then I got in, and my mom was like, you're going because you need to be able to know how to do all of it. Don't just limit yourself. I'm so glad I went, because now I can do so many other things, and dance will always be my number one, my heart, my love. But it's been so helpful to be able to sing and have all the tricks in your toolbox. So yeah,
of course, amazing. I love that. It's definitely true, right? Like especially our industry has evolved where you really need to be a triple, quadruple threat. You have to have all the skills, like you said, in your toolbox. So yeah. So both of you trained in a studio. Did either of you have BIPOC instructors in your studio?
Yeah, I had Brazilian ballet teachers in Regina. Yeah, it was so
in Regina.
Yeah, I know. We were so lucky. I honestly have no idea why they came there, but like they both my ballet teachers, they were doing amazing things in Brazil and like had beautiful dancers and studios there. And then I think they wanted to come to Canada to see what the training was like, and then they saw a kind of gap in the training style there for ballet, and then Saskatchewan, I guess. I don't know why they were there, to be honest. I should message them and be like, why be there? I don't understand. But luckily for me, I mean, they were very strict, like as ballet teachers can be. But it was nice for me as one of the only people of color in my studio, especially for ballet, when you see not a ton of POCs for ballet, and then it's not what I ended up doing because I didn't grow and don't have the turnout and don't have the feet. But it was really helpful to not think that being a person of color would hold me back in that regard. Like, it never felt in that way that it was gonna make me not do the best that I could, which was really nice. Yeah, but then they were the only POCs that I had, probably until I went to Randolph.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had my mom, who didn't teach me until I was older because, conflicts of interest and that. But God bless my mom. She always, she would play, she plays soca music in her classes. She plays gospel songs in her classes, and she did it from when I was young. And I used to be like, Mom, you can't play, soca because these kids don't know. I was kind of embarrassed by it, just in my immaturity and being one of the only Black dancers there. And now I'm I full embrace it. And my mom and I co-teach together, and we play all of the tunes, a whole array of music. But now that I'm older and I'm more mature, and I give her credit for doing that. For, she's got a bunch of white kids in her class, but she's playing Our God is an Awesome God, Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
And she, and she's playing, what's the other one she always play? All these soca songs that and these kids love it, and it's giving them exposure to music that maybe they wouldn't have in their homes and in their lives. And I also had Andrew Prashad, who you might know of. He's in the industry. Yeah. He taught me hip hop.
Just so joyful.
Yes. He taught me hip hop. He actually taught me how to do the wave. And he taught me, right? Yeah, he taught me how to break it down. I was
Love
9, and tap as well. So, and he played all the different. He would bring in some awesome rap songs, and we would tap along to them. He just, he was very much brought himself to the work and to the studio, and didn't cater it to the crowd that was there. He just did his thing. So
yeah. And you, Hailey, you trained in Toronto, your studio?
Burlington.
Okay.
Good old Burlington.
Okay. And then Natasha, you said it was London until it was.
And then Regina, Saskatchewan.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I always wonder how location can sometimes, I don't want to say dictate who will be teaching, but I danced here in Calgary. Do you think there were any BIPOC teachers? No. Not a one.
No.
Not a one.
No. What about Decidedly Jazz? Isn't that there's a company called Decidedly Jazz? And
DJD's now. I feel like back in the day, that's not where my mom put me, I should say. I danced at Premier, and then I danced at Dan Scott, and neither of those studios had BIPOC teachers, or if they did, I never saw them and they didn't teach me. So
Yeah. Well, and I think that's part of the reason my parents put me in at the studio I ended up being at, because they had Brazilian ballet teachers, something that's at least, something different, especially in a place like Regina where there is just not a ton of diversity, or more so now, but back then, there was nobody who looked like me besides my brother.
But, exactly. So comes my next question. Were either of you ever singled out to perform the ethnic solo or duo or trio at your studio?
I thankfully was not. I didn't have that experience until I got to theater school, where I was, put in that box, given the label, told to do things in, the Jamaican accent, assuming that I'm Jamaican or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that at my studio. I felt different only because I was the only Black girl there, but I was never, it wasn't because of anything that the teachers were doing or the students were doing. I felt embraced. I felt, yeah, I wasn't, I never had to do the African solo or the hip hop solo. There was some, you know, microaggressions when it came to hip hop, that I only realize now happened. I didn't realize when I was younger because, you know, you're not clocking those things like you do now. But there was definitely some comments about, you know, oh, you should do the hip hop solo, or you're the best at hip hop, or show me how to twerk like you in hip hop, and you know, those
God,
comments that
Jesus.
now I look back and I'm like, oh, Lord of mercy, like. But I wasn't, thankfully, I didn't have that experience at my studio. I don't know about you, Natasha.
Yeah, no, I feel the same. I didn't ever really feel singled out in that way. I mean, I did some ballet solos that were like, you know, Spanish solo from Carmen, or an Arabian solo from this ballet or that ballet, but it was never, I never felt like it was because of the color of my skin. It was always just because I also did, you know, the bluebird solo, or the,
Yeah.
you know, whatever it was
Yeah.
that was not typically a brown person.
Right.
You know, but and then yeah, with jazz and taps solos, yeah, it was never anything specific to, you know, being brown. I never thought that. You know, but it was hard too. There was not any form of Indian dance really in Regina at that time. So I felt like I never got the opportunity to learn that. But I think I also fought against that as well because I'm adopted, so my parents are white. So I
Yeah.
didn't want to be more different, I guess,
Mm, wow.
in my circle,
Yeah.
you know, and my mom was very like, "Oh, we should do, you know, you should dress in traditional Indian garb or this or that." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not that. I don't know
Right.
enough." You know, I mean I am born in Malaysia, but you know, so yeah, so in some ways I'm like I wish I'd had some avenue, but at least when it came to the studio life, I never felt like they were forcing me into anything. Even in musical theater, my studio had a musical theater program as well, and they never kind of forced me into any particular role, which I always appreciated, which helps me now because now I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I can go into the room and be like, yeah, you can see me for this character because it's my what I feel like I'm right for.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I was gonna say though, I was gonna ask you, Natasha, if you had, because I feel like sometimes dance studios, and you as well, Tara, can sometimes appropriate certain cultures and dances. I don't know if you
Mm,
had, like, when you would go to competitions and you would see, like, I when you said Indian dance, I remember doing a Bollywood dance. It was right when
yeah,
like Slumdog came out and the whole Pussycat
Yeah.
Dolls Jai Ho was
we did
popular.
one too later.
Yes,
Yeah, when
no,
I was a bit
but
Oh my
older.
God.
right, I feel like it was
Yeah.
everybody was doing it, but I do remember my dance teacher actually going and doing the research and taking class from Bollywood professionals. But
Mm,
then, you know, you go to competitions and you see, and you're wondering, you know, did they do the research? Same with hip hop, same with like if they
yeah.
did tribal, you know, and it can kind of, it can get a bit sketchy at times. I don't know if you two have had that experience at your studios where maybe they should have done research with some of these dances.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, for sure. Like it's definitely I yeah, we did a Bollywood number. Like and we did uh like a belly dancing type number
Mm.
and you know and things that just kind of come in like with jazz, yeah, you're taking from that African diaspora sometimes and I'm like, okay, well where is this coming from?
Yeah.
And like luckily, especially in a place like Saskatchewan, like there's YouTube and I know my teachers did that research, but at the same time when you're not getting it from the real
Yeah.
people who come from this culture, it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to feel totally comfortable when you're dancing it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to. It's like you said, Haley. It's like it's great when they do the research and they take the lessons and they go in. Like, I know a male choreographer who is super into like African inspired movement, and he has studied with like he has done the work, and he's always very clear about, you know, I studied with so and so, I have X amount of years of experience, and I realize I'm borrowing from said culture to do these
Right.
movements. And it's always really like that. But in my hip hop class, if you can even call it that, it was the studio owner's daughter, who was also a fellow dancer. Like, we danced side by side in competition. And it was like, she played like a Lil Bow Wow song and then just started dancing. It was like, this is hip hop. And I'm like,
Oh.
like, are we not going to talk about it? But again, being
Yeah.
the only one, it was like, can I really?
You go 5, 6, 7,
What
8.
a-
Here we go. Yeah.
Precisely. You're like,
Yeah.
this is what we're doing at the recital. This is what we're doing. Thank God we didn't
Yeah.
compete with it. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know, just
Yeah.
like cringy moments like that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't, like, I had this conversation with my dance teacher. Like, she says, you know, I didn't even realize, like, I don't think they do it intentionally to disrespect or
Yeah.
upset, or but they don't clock it the way we have to, right, with a lot of
Right.
things. And so
Yeah.
she's like, but now the key is that now they do. And I've seen a lot of documents being passed around with different dance studios with making a promise to educate and to share that information with the students and bring in people if you have to, you know, like if you want to do a Spanish number, maybe I'm not the choreographer because I'm not, maybe I bring in somebody who's an expert at that. It's totally okay, you know. So I think that people are realizing that now, which is good.
Absolutely.
Definitely headed in the right direction, I think, on that front. Definitely. So next question. Does your previous dance studio experience aid you in dance calls, like as far as ease of remembering choreography or anything like that? Do you think it helps you?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely think in terms of like, picking up choreo really fast, and especially when you're learning competition numbers, you're learning so many in a dance studio at a time before you go to competition. It's so stressful, and to make everything perfect. So you pick things up, even if you're not as good at that, I find like you're just practicing it over and over again. So you have a leg up when you go into a dance call in that way. If you haven't had the competition background, I feel like that's a bit harder, and you feel that anxiety way more when you're in the room. Because we all feel that. Yeah, I think the thing I had to learn along the way, though, was the storytelling aspect of it. It's not just like put on the face and here we are, you know. It's like, okay, we're in this room and we have to tell the story in the audition room, in the dance call, very fast too. So bridging that together was something I felt like I had to learn through experience versus when I was in the studio.
Totally. Yeah. The story was something I struggled with when I got to theater school, you know, because I just wanted to do the dance, and the teachers were like, there has to be a reason why you're pirouetting. You can't just pirouette because. And I was like, well, my whole life I've just been pirouetting. So that was a shakeup. But yes, I feel like there's 3 main things that help me, that I've gotten from dance, that have helped me with dance calls. Is one is I had a dance teacher that I assisted, and she would always make me do things we would do things across the floor on the right, and then she would say, okay, Hailey's going to demonstrate it right away on the left side. And so I had to be quick at flipping the whole thing on the left and demonstrating it in a way that these kids are going to be able to pick up. So that, I worked with her for years, and just having that skill to be able to learn choreography and then immediately put it on the other side, I found has helped me, because you don't often have to do that in a dance call, right? You just have to learn the combo. So I'm like, if I can learn this combo and do it on the left side, the complete opposite side, I got this. And then the second thing that helped was my mom and my dance studio would send us to workshops where we got exposure to different choreographers and different dancers, and I did a lot of them in Toronto, and Toronto dancers are just fire. Like, they're just like inspiring. Like, they just breathe dance in a way that, like, I thought I breathe dance. They like, it's different. They're in Hailey at
Yeah, I
the
totally
level,
agree.
right? So I would go to those, and I did some in the States as well, like in Buffalo. And that was where I got so much training, because you're pushed outside your comfort zone. You're not in your studio bubble learning your competition
Yeah.
choreo. These
Right.
choreographers that are demanding so much from you in a short amount of time. And then you've got tons of dancers surrounding you that are literally leaving blood, sweat, and tears on the dance floor. And you have no choice but to just propel yourself and go for it. So that's where I learned how to pick up quickly and also bring style, because in competition world you
Mm-hmm.
have to hold your arms like everybody else, whereas
Yep.
workshop, it's all about you, it's all about what you can
Yeah.
bring, right?
Totally.
So I found that
Yeah.
has helped. And the third thing was I did dance exams at my dance studio, and we had to do the
Yeah.
whole learning terminology, walking into the room,
Mm-hmm.
hands behind your back, saying good morning, Miss So and So. And that just
Right.
helped me learn like respect, respect and organization, and like, kind of like those life skill type of things that I also
Yeah.
apply to audition. So, just showing up, being polite, being respectful, making sure I have
Yeah.
my headshot and resume ready to go. I have all my shoes ready to go. I have backup outfits. I have everything. Like, it just kind of teaches you those skills. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dance exams are so great. They were
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
the most stressful thing, but
Yeah.
also you've learned so much. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and lining up all together and in the same kind of bodysuit and tights and
Yep.
Right.
perfect hair. And
Yep.
yeah, it
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
makes you feel like now when I go into an audition, I'm just like, okay, here I am,
Yeah.
presentable and ready.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah. I love that. I didn't even think about the correlation between a dance exam and an audition and how those skills transfer. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Um, so what are major differences, if there are any, that you find between studio life or theater life? Or I don't know if either of you have danced with a company, but yeah, if you find differences between our industry and studio life and all that.
Yeah. I would say the studio life, I loved it when I was in it. I wouldn't love it now. Uh, it's just, well, but then I guess, theater life, like I think of studio life as very bubbly. Like it's like very, you've got the dance moms, you've got the politics of the
Hmm.
competitions, you've got the cattiness sometimes. Then
Hmm.
again, you can get that in theater life. So maybe there are some similarities there. But yeah, I would say the studio life was good when I was younger. Like it was a great setting for me. It was my home away from home. I still teach there, but theater, it's just different. It's more of a go in, do your job, peace out. Yes, there's a family aspect of it, of course, but it's just a higher level of, well, it's professional. So yeah.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that, yeah, we're just versus competition, even if you're so serious about it, at the end of the day, you're just having fun with your friends and you're in your studio. And yeah, if you get first, awesome. And if you don't, well,
Yeah.
you'll maybe get yelled at by your teacher, but
Yeah.
then
Sure.
you'll go home and, and it's okay. But yeah, for theater, it's different for me now. Like I could leave the competition behind and I couldn't leave theater behind.
Mm,
Right.
There's more soul
Yes.
in it,
Hmm.
there's more heart, there's more, we're all there working for the audience and a common goal to tell the story. And,
mm,
so it's, yeah, it just
Yeah.
feels very different. But all of the things that we learned in competition definitely have helped
yeah.
to be, focused and disciplined and to have fun and find the joy
Yeah.
as well.
Hmm.
Totally.
Hmm. Just super important, right? Like you said, Haley, as professional as theater is and our career is, it's like you said, Natasha, you have to find the joy in it
Yeah.
too. And that does come from
Yeah.
it does come from doing competition and stuff. I
Yeah.
remember you were saying something about if you win first, it's great, but if not, you might get yelled at. I remember having to listen back when we didn't win to like our adjudication.
Ooh.
And you just on the tape, like on the cassette,
Yeah.
put them in. It would be like, that one dancer, her feet aren't turned out.
Ah!
That one dancer messed up. She has awkward hands. And you're just like, oh my God, am I the dancer? Did I do it wrong? Did I
And your
lose this
teacher
wrong?
looks at you like, I've been saying that for 6
Right?
weeks
And you're
now.
like,
And you're like,
Yeah. What did you
Yeah.
do? Yeah.
Oh
So
my
stressful. I'm kind of glad that we don't
Yeah.
have that in theater. Like we have reviews,
Yeah.
but we can choose to read those or not, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I remember one time in competition, I was doing a group number, and I was on the edge in a line of dancers vertically, and my dance teacher was in the wing, just being like, because I was out of line, I guess, but I didn't know what she was saying, and then of course I messed up. It was just like, okay, well, here we are, end of dance, bye. Went off stage, and she was like, you were out of line. I'm very upset, but also I made you mess up, so I take that upon myself.
oh, good for her.
Yeah, right. I was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
well, this could have gone worse, so I'll take it.
Right. Oh my
I feel
gosh,
like
so
at
funny.
my studio when I was dancing, we were like harder on ourselves than the teachers. Like we would freak
Yeah.
out if somebody dropped a prop, or we had one number with ropes that we were all attached to, and like it was a disaster one time, and we all ran off stage crying, and my teacher was like, get a grip. There's like 3 more competitions left in the year. You're going to be fine. But we would go hard for these competitions, and like we would see the other studios there, and we have to beat them. You know, we have to like we
The
almost
rivals.
Yes, we went harder than the teachers sometimes because it was like so high stakes for us at the time.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I go to competitions to support my dance studio, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, come on, this is not, if you get 4th place, it's not that big of a deal, but at the time it's everything. So
Yeah.
Right. I also feel like it's on another level now. Like I haven't stepped foot into a competition in well over a decade. But I feel like it's different now. Even like Dance Moms on TV. I've seen a few episodes and I'm like, I know it's reality TV, but like this is very, very intense.
Yeah.
Like and again, it's American too, right? Like I've only ever been to I think 2 American competitions, and it's a different level, like a different level.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's like
and
crazy tricks and
the tricks. Yeah, that has changed so much where it's not just about the dancing. You have to have like the crazy lifts and the
Tumbling,
tricks,
acro,
and everybody doing it till at the same
Yep.
time, you know.
Oh,
and I'm like, I wish.
we did one
part.
pirouette. We did single pirouette. We were like, yes, we nailed that single.
Nailed it.
Totally. It's a different world now. Different worlds.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. So my next question is, can you explain why it's so important as a dancer to have the proper color shoes and tights?
To be honest, I never thought about shoes, if I'm being real. I never thought about different colored shoes. Yeah, it never registered to me. Tights, for sure, was and still is, because let me tell you, I have done hairspray now twice. Once with beige tights and once with like purple, like my legs were purple. So it's still happening.
No.
Still happening. I know. But growing up, I actually asked my mom this question because this was something for her that she struggled with when she was growing up as a dancer, was that she just felt uncomfortable and she felt like embarrassed, and you know, you want people to focus on your dance when you're on stage. You don't want them to be focusing on all the little things, and so she just felt silly that she had on tights that didn't look like her legs, you know, like everything else looks great, and then you look at the bottom and you're like, whoa, what's going on? And so she had to go and source out and get her own tights, and yeah, it just made her feel silly. She said she just felt like she was like embarrassed about it. So, and I had similar experience, but because she had already gone through it, she kind of saved me from having to go through it. So she went and we got the tights for me and all of that. But I know she definitely had that experience of wearing like just beige tights or orange And she being like, well, I can't wear these, so she went and got her own stockings.
Right.
Yeah, but shoes, I never clocked the shoes, to be honest. Color.
Sure.
Yeah, for us, I feel like I never thought about it either too much at the time when I was in my studio, because everybody had to wear the same color beige tights to match the beige shoes that were all the same, and like the salmon colored tights with their salmon colored ballet shoes, you know, and things, and black tights with black shoes. So yeah, and that I kind of was like, well, okay, we're all uniform, I get it. But then if I was an individual, that's where it shifts a bit, you know, where I'm like, okay, well, if you want me to wear something that's skin color, then you need to get something that's skin color for me, and not something that's a neutral, you know, whoever you think the skin color of neutral is. You know, but yeah, I definitely found in musical theater that it's been an issue of not having that, especially in shows where they don't want you to have bare legs, so they want everyone to wear tights, but they're not providing the right colors. And like it happened to me on a production of Mamma Mia, and I was like, what? I can't, like, the options were like a light beige and a like gray color.
Gray.
Yeah, it was super strange. I think they thought it would look different on, and it just looked gray. You know, but obviously, and then the team saw it and was like, well, absolutely not, that's ridiculous, and got me the right color tights. But thank goodness, you know, there are people who will advocate, thankfully, and like we all have to advocate for ourselves if we have to, and so now I feel like we're all finally able to broach these topics without fearing for our jobs or being difficult. Yeah, but that's where I definitely felt like you feel just like, oh, like I'm just like, how is this something I have to say? You know, so if, you know, we can help the next people coming into theater that they don't have to deal with that, that would be awesome.
Right. Yeah. It's difficult, right? Because like the two of you, up until recently, there's been times where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna not have tights because you guys can't find me the right ones. Or I've had a wardrobe designer actually tea dye the tights, and she was like, we don't have the color here, so we'll tea dye them for you. And that was great. So like that was an option. But as of late, it's been, I mean, I think now, hopefully moving into the next time we do get to step into theater, that they'll be prepared. Because sometimes I even find it frustrating that they ask me beforehand what color my tights are, because they know that I've had to do my own research. It's like nobody else has to do this, but I don't know. I'd rather them ask me than not, than not. But it still feels like I'm doing the work when they should be doing the work.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Like,
absolutely.
They knew you were coming. They saw your
right.
headshot.
That's the thing too.
You know, that's like I once had with a wig cap situation where I was given blonde wig prep, and I said, you know, I need black, and can you get it for me, you know, whatever. And she's like, well, we're not actively looking right now. And I was like, but you knew that I was going to be here. You knew, first of all, that we were doing Hairspray. Half of the cast is going to be black. So you already know, hands down, we need things.
We need it.
And then, you know, you still continue. And she was like, we're not looking. We don't know where to get it. I literally drove up the road 10 minutes to the Sally, whatever the heck it's called, got the thing and showed it to her and was like, and I'd like to be compensated for that. And it was like, you know, the look she gave me. And I was like, it's down the road. And you knew that I was going to be here. You knew this. So why not just be on it? Just save yourself. Save me, you know. And there is some awesome people out there. Corey, I always butcher his last name.
Oh yes,
with an S. Yes, I've had him for like 3 shows, and he's on it. He doesn't even ask. He's like, "Here you go. If these are wrong, I will order you new ones." Same with wigs. He's just awesome. He doesn't like just be ready. Like just be prepared. That's all we're asking. Like
yes,
you know?
yes, absolutely.
And it really isn't that hard. That's
No.
always my thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, if we can find it, you can find it. You just have to
Yeah.
do a little search,
Yeah.
or if you don't have my right bra color, go to Licenza.
Yeah.
It's probably there.
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's very
Mhm.
simple. Yeah, there's so many resources. Like you literally
Yeah.
do a quick Google search and you're
Right.
good. Or you
Or
can order
ask.
Yeah.
it. Like
And
Or ask
ask,
me and say,
yeah.
hey, Hales, do you
or
have
ask.
a skin color bra that you like to wear? I'd be like, yeah. They'd be like,
Mhm.
great, we'll compensate you for that since you're using it.
Exactly.
Or we'll,
Right.
we'll, just have the conversation, but don't creep around it or give us the gray or the blonde or the wrong
Or
thing.
the black. I've
Or the
had black Titanic to me. Like, excuse me,
Oh.
ma'am. Like, I know I'm black, but I'm not black. Like, literally black. How dare you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing unless it serves the costume, right? Like I'm playing a damn
Precisely.
chimney or something and I
Precisely.
need to be all
Yeah.
black or
Yes.
But
But
no,
we're
if it's
talking
skin
about
color, no.
exactly skin color. My goodness.
Be on it, people. How would you
On
want to be
it.
treated? How would you want
Yeah.
black
Exactly.
tights and say these are your skin color? Or if we
Yeah.
gave you just bare plain white tights and was like, okay,
Right.
this matches your skin color, like you'd be like, excuse me,
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now they have shoes coming out, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen on your Instagram, Natasha, you've got
Yeah.
some nice
Ooh.
nude for
Yeah.
you
Oh,
Ledukes, which I love.
yeah. When I was at Neptune, I guess it was 2 years ago now, they came out with the cinnamon colored Leducas, which are exactly my skin color, and they were selling them on the
Love
website.
that.
So I was like, you know what? Okay, I am gonna do this because it is an investment for me, and I can't believe they're doing this. But also,
Right.
when are you gonna do everybody else's shades? Because
Yeah.
oh, how nice for me, because it just happens to be the shade that I am. But there's so many different shades of people out there, and they can't all get custom shoes. It's just not feasible, and I saved my money from my contract to do that.
Right.
And it was worth it to me, but some people can't afford or even to, do that. So it's like, we need this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially if people are expecting it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want the lines to be, fluid. They don't break the line, is what my teachers would used to say. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, until you find me the right shoes,
Yeah.
and the
Can't
right
do anything
tights,
for you.
she gonna have a black foot and a
Yeah.
beige leg. So I don't know what you want from me.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wild, wild. All right. So next question, kind of a funny question.
Okay.
If you had a hip hop class at your studio, what did it look like? What was your hip hop class like? Mine was taught by, as I told you, my the owner's daughter.
I don't know, I'm giggling already.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. But I had Andrew once. I had him for 1 year.
Right.
And he was great. Like he taught us like legit. He actually taught us like break dancing. Like I learned how to do the coffee grinder.
Amazing.
Yeah, he was really cool. Look, when I was doing hip hop at my studio, I thought it was the greatest thing because I didn't know any different. Like I just thought it was cool. I thought, I thought it was great. So now looking back, I see, I'm like, okay, maybe that wasn't real hip hop. Maybe that wasn't the best choice of music. But at the time, it was great. But like I said, my mom and my studio sent me to lots of workshops where I actually got hip hop. And those experiences were the best. Like we had Sean Mendes, Sean Desmond, whatever that guy,
Yeah.
Canadian singer. His wife. They and Luther, what's his name?
Luther Brown.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
there's some good hip hop teachers back in the day that I can say I had true hip hop, not flip flop as I call it. But
I love that.
At my studio when I was younger, I thought it was great doing 1 and 2, 3 and like I just thought it was great. But now I look back and it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't no Sierra and Missy Elliott. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same. You know, it was fun, and I feel like my teachers were great at finding amazing music and things like that. But also when I saw So You Think You Can Dance, when that was becoming big, and you would see the hip hop dancers on that show, and I was like, oh, that's what it's supposed to be like. And like,
sure.
I mean, for me, I was like, I'm never going to be like that anyway. But, you know, I would love to experience that and have teachers who understand that and what it's about. But I definitely feel the same way. Workshops and dance conventions that I went to, that you're being taught by those people and you're finding out where they come from and how those movements affect them and affect the dances, was really great. So I'm lucky to have had that experience. And then moving to Toronto, the amazing people who teach here are just out of this world. Constantly, I'm like, I'm so terrible, but I'm gonna stand here.
You're really not. You're really great, actually.
But you know, because I'm like, oh, it's not my thing, so I feel not confident. But I also find those teachers are so great at instilling that confidence to just be like, you need to just find your groove, find your flow, and you'll be totally fine. And if you don't know the choreo, just freestyle it up. It's great.
Right. Which is always fun.
Which is always fun, yeah.
So in both of your opinions, must you have training to call yourself a dancer, or can you be a strong mover, as they like to say, who becomes a dancer?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I personally believe everybody is a dancer. Like, we all have movement and music in our soul. You just have to find what speaks to you. And you know, and I actually find, like, I love teaching actor singers who are like, I can't dance, and I, you know, because when they get it and they realize that it's not just about kicking your face or doing a triple pirouette, and it's just about how you feel and how you're expressing yourself through movement, that's the most important thing. And I love that when they just like click lights on, you know. And of course, technique will come.
Yeah.
You know, you go to class and you want to get better, and it will come. But yeah, you can't teach that spirit of movement.
You said it perfectly. I couldn't agree more. I definitely felt differently when I entered Sheridan, because I was a dancer first, and I was in a year of singing people who, you know, went into dance class and got a pickup or a wing and was like, yes, I'm the best dancer now. And I was like, it took me years to get a wing, so halt. But, you know, when they were doing that pickup or wing, they were bringing such character and story to it. Like you said, that's like, dang, like, just being able to execute a wing doesn't make you like the greatest dancer. It's like, it's the way you do it, it's the heart that you're putting into it that matters. So you're absolutely right that you don't have to be, you know, a prima ballerina or have years of training to call yourself a dancer. Like, if you've got the determination and the dedication, but most importantly the heart and the passion, you're rolling, especially in our industry. So
yeah.
I love those answers. It's so nice. It's so beautiful. So our last kind of formal question, which is one that we ask everybody. Does representation matter?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I had to answer a question for a tape the other day that's like, why, what motivates you to do this, or why do you do this? And I said, I love to inspire, but I love to inspire kids and children. And something that I always loved and loved seeing when I was younger was like the Black girl, because it was always one in whatever show I was going to see, or, you know, watching movies with representation. I loved watching like Akilah and the Bee and Fighting Temptations, just movies and music and shows where I could see me. It didn't mean that when I saw, you know, a white girl on stage, or I watched Lizzie McGuire, that I didn't see myself in her as well. Like I did. I wanted to be Hilary Duff. But it was so important to me to see myself, you know, in various different aspects of the industry. So I think it is so important, especially for the kids, so they have something to look up to, and they know that, you know, okay, there's a part for me in this world, or I saw that guy do that, and you know, he has brown skin like me, or he has, you know. And representation doesn't just mean skin color, it means body type, it means, you know, different abilities, people in wheelchairs, people with, you know, who are blind, people who are, you know, different body types. Like we just need to be able to see it all, because that's life, you know. You don't, when they do 42nd Street and they have all the same girls on 42nd Street, you don't see all the same girls. You see every walk of life. So why not have, you know, a bunch of tall girls in one short? Because hey, that's life, you know. You might see a group of girls hanging on the street and they're all different sizes. So I think representation absolutely matters.
Yeah. Oh, that was so well said. I totally agree. David Connolly says it all the time, that he's like, you want to see what you see on the street. And Hailey said the same thing, that when I go out my door, I don't just see all the same people about. Everyone is different, and they all deserve a space on our stage, because we are a safe space, or we need to be. And so hopefully we'll continue to move in that direction. And yeah, for me, I wouldn't be here doing what I do if I hadn't seen the only other South Asian brown girl in my town doing musical theater. And I wouldn't, you know, I just wouldn't have done it. And I wouldn't have thought, oh, I could be on the stage too, because she is, you know. And so, and yeah, seeing things like Bend It Like Beckham, the movie, you know, was so iconic. And getting to be in that musical last Christmas was, and being around a bunch of South Asian actors who were brilliant. All of us are just like, they still can't believe that happened, you know. And so, and I find, it doesn't matter, you know, if the person is Black or if they're Asian or whatever they may be, if they have a, you know, are an amputee, and they're getting to do this, I feel a kinship there, especially as an adopted person, where I don't know my background and I don't know everything about where I come from. So, you know, I feel really connected to different stories, because they all have a place in this world and they deserve to be told. So, yeah.
Amazing. Beautifully said, both of you. Beautifully said. Sure. First question. Which is your good side for kicks and turns?
Right.
That's the right.
Yeah. I feel like most people say that. Like if you're right-handed, if you're right side dominant, normally that's what it is.
Generally. Yeah.
But you know what? I know a choreographer who, she's right side dominant, but her left, like, she lives by her left leg. Lives on it.
Ray Hogg choreographs everything on the left.
Oh snap! Does he?
When I worked with him, I was like, okay, here we go. I need to figure a lot of things out.
Yeah.
But it was great because it made me. It was a good challenge.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, next question. Capezios or So Dances?
I don't know
why that's cracking me up, but just I haven't heard those names in so long.
Yeah,
I know.
Listen,
I would say Capezio, I guess, because I used those maybe the most.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say So Danza because I used to think sometimes I read things incorrectly when I read things really fast. It's very silly of me, but I read it as Sodanka once, and so then in my head I always was saying Sodanka, and then people were like, "It's not that." And I was like, well,
It is for me.
Maybe it is.
So I'm gonna
There you
say
go.
Danka.
Amazing. I love
oh
it. Your favorite style to improv?
my God. Nothing.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
I
like
hate
improv
it.
at all. Improv is not my friend.
I
Probably.
guess if I had to choose contemporary,
Oh wow.
because then I could, but not because I'm good at it, but just because then I could like breathe and feel myself.
Flex feet.
And you pretend that it's good. So
Right.
Oh gosh, I would say jazz, probably because I can just, I love old school like 80s jazz. So I could bring some of that in, but improv is not my strongest suit.
Okay. Well, you're gonna hate my next question. Your go-to count of 8. If I was like 5, 6, 7, 8, what would it be?
Depends on the situation, because sometimes, like if it's like a contemporary vibe, I will stand there. I'll be like, I'm thinking, I'm embodying the combo. But if it's like party, like I'll just be like popping, snapping, da 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 da, and a drop it and like it'll be something stupid.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, yeah, I'd probably like groove and drop it to a split on 8.
Oh wow.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, lots of just groove. Just groove.
Amazing. Yeah. And then our last question, a favorite dance movie. Any dance movie?
I love the Chorus Line movie so much. I watch it all the time.
Yeah. I have to say Dirty Dancing.
Oh, yeah.
It so much. Yeah, I just love anything old school, 80s.
Yeah. Flashdance also I love.
Yeah. And Step Up. Step Up is another one.
Yes.
That was like the first time they combined like hip hop and ballet, and it was so cool. So.
Yeah.
Definitely. Amazing. Well, ladies, that's all I got for you.
Yay.
So fun.
Thank you so much for coming to talk to me today.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. And until next time.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you for saying Capizio.
Of course.
Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and visit our website musicaltokens.com for your daily dose of